And this is 36, the podcast. Podcast. 36, the podcast. And this is 36, the podcast.
What's up, Fairbanks? What's up, Fairbanks North Star Borough? My name is Tilden.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Brandon.
And this is 36 the podcast. I know something is a little different. Okay. You probably have guessed by now that we're not at our usual location, which is Hoodoo Brewery. This is season 2. And for the start of season 2, we're doing something totally new. We're doing a tour of breweries for season 2, and we're kicking it off at none other than Lat 65 Brewing Company. So we're kicking off the 36 on Tap series at Lat 65 Brewing, where grit, risk, and a little bit of chaos come together in the best way. Sitting down with Zeb, Andy, and Josh, we're getting into what it really takes to start something from nothing in Alaska. Zeb, Andy, Josh, how are you guys doing?
Doing good.
Good, thanks.
All right. So thank you guys for allowing us to take up a little bit of your time today for our first on-scene podcast in our season 2 series of visiting the different breweries. So really appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys, especially it's the Easter weekend. So happy Easter to you guys. And also, it's First Friday, too, so there's lots going on between the brewery and here locally in the community. So thank you guys for taking this opportunity to sit down with us for a little bit. All right, and I'm going to start off with the first question. You guys ready?
We're ready.
All right, so what's the real story behind how you ended up in the brewing world? Was it passion? Was it accident, or was it an obsession? And anyone can answer. All three can answer. It's just up to you guys.
Well, I guess I'll start off. Andy and I were talking years ago, and I guess it's a little bit of love for craft beer and a little bit of accident. We were looking around for locations for quite a while before we actually pulled the trigger on this building.
Yes.
And then we decided, hey, we're going to go for it. Our main thing was we just wanted another place in the community that was going to be good local craft beer.
Yeah.
Big place for people to enjoy with their families and friends. So that was the initial premise. And then we got into this remodel, and it was a little longer than we thought.
Okay. So speaking of remodel, and
First of all, Tilden, I just want to say the answer to that question for Zeb and I is probably totally different, and that was a good answer. It's probably totally different for Josh.
Okay.
Like what brought Josh into the craft? I'd like to hear that answer from Josh. What brought Josh into the craft beer world?
Obviously, I wasn't here in the very beginning for Lat. I came in about 6 months after they opened, but it just in general for getting into craft beer. I've been doing this for over a decade.
Oh, wow. Okay.
My bachelor's degree is in food science and technology from Morgan State University. It's the third brewery I've worked at, second one that I've been in charge of.
Okay.
Okay,
now, so did you specifically relocate? So where are you originally from?
Moved around a bunch when I was a kid, but mostly like Oregon, Washington.
Okay, so where were you before you came to Fairbanks?
I was in Fort Collins, Colorado.
So you came up here specifically. So Zeb and Andy summoned you up here.
Yeah, pretty
and
much.
that's how you appeared up here in Fairbanks to make their beer.
Yeah, I moved up here for this job.
Really? Okay.
Most people during the pandemic, you kind of figure out what you want to do, reassess or whatever. So I took some time off from my other job. I had a daughter who'd just been born, so was staying at home and kept my eyes open for an opportunity that would get me back into beer. And so they posted a job opening and got into talks with them. It sounded like a cool opportunity. So that's why I moved to Alaska.
Okay. Now, so you touched a little bit on the building aspect of this place right here, and so I noticed that there's still some construction going on, and I don't know if there's any questions that are going to get into that later on, but before I forget though, what is the status of what you're doing on the other side?
Well, we're expanding our tasting room over there. It's going to be kind of focused on the 3 different things. One, it's going to be a little easier to order from our food vendor, you know, from Ted with Frozen Smoke.
Gotcha.
You'll be able to order from his window over there. There'll be more dining space. And then we still have the 2 racquetball courts over there. So we're going to have some kind of entertainment, you know, spaces in there so people can do games and stuff during the day.
So we can drink beer, eat food, and burn it off playing racquetball?
At 40 below.
Yeah, the racquetball is going to be out now, but there'll be some other stuff over there. So we got some good plans going over there, and so we're excited to open that up.
Gotcha. All right. Good deal.
You could have a racquetball tournament. I've never played, but I would get down on that. Have to drink a beer after every course. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you guys know this was originally the racquetball.
Yeah.
Fairbanks racquetball. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It was the back then the Fairbanks Athletic Club, right?
Well, so last
Or was it
ownership
something
was
else after
actually,
that?
last ownership was Black Gold. They owned it for their trucking company. Before that was Alaska Club. Before that was Fairbanks Racquetball Club or whatever they
I
call
didn't
it.
know that.
Building opened, I think they started construction in 1978, and they opened in 1979 as Fairbanks Racquetball.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was 8 racquetball courts with locker rooms and showers in the basement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it went through a number of, transformations.
I learn something new every day. So, what's your friends and family think about this? So, I'm going to open up a brewery in Fairbanks, Alaska.
Go ahead, Andy.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where you kind of throw out ideas, and people probably don't take you seriously, you know? But just to give you a little bit of background, like, Zeb and I, we've known each other, I don't know, probably close to 18 years, something like that. Maybe longer. And, we were just guys that enjoyed breweries and enjoyed craft beer, right? And so we got the idea to start a brewery, and we started looking around and kicking that idea around. And, meanwhile, Josh was on that path way before we were, right? He was going to college to learn this stuff.
Yes.
And it was just one of those things that kind of, Zeb said it happened a little bit by accident, but at the same time, it took a lot of fortitude. Like, you talk about an idea with a buddy about a business venture, right?
Yeah.
And, it probably goes away by next weekend. But you talk about it again, a month later, a year goes by. It's just one of those things that sort of builds momentum. And at some point, you're like, well, let's start looking for land, right? And it's just one step after another. And eventually, you find yourself at like a turning point. Are we going to give up on this and, waste all the effort that we put in, or are we going to continue on and push forward? So I guess, if people said, oh, that's a weird idea or whatever, or it's a great idea, it didn't really affect us. We just kind of kept pushing forward on our own, ideas.
Okay, Josh. Okay, so feeding off of that. Okay, so what did your family say when you said, "Shit, I'm moving from Fort Collins, Colorado, with interstates and like?" So I'm assuming all your family, mom and dad, and aunts and uncles, they're all in the lower 48.
Yes.
Okay, so what was their reaction when you said, "I'm gonna go and this brewery's never been open before, but I'm just gonna go up there and see what happens"?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up moving around a lot whenever I was a kid. My dad was in the Navy and then in like manufacturing, and so I lived all over the U.S. and we moved every 2 or 3 years. So definitely like not out of the norm for what I was used to. My wife, however, grew up in Tucson, Arizona, lived there her entire life till she left for college. So not as many moves to that point, but the opportunity, like coming up to Alaska, checking it out, and the ability to run a really cool brewery in a scene that's not necessarily as developed as where I was working before. Fort Collins has 24 craft breweries in a town of 170,000 people.
Oh wow.
And then you got Denver right down the road, with a bunch more, right? So being able to come into a smaller community and do that sort of stuff was definitely like an interesting, exciting opportunity for me. And my wife and I talked it over, and we were like, yeah, we'll give her a shot and see how she goes. And most of my friends, whenever we told them, they were not surprised. It's just like, I don't know, if there's a cool opportunity, my wife and I are a team, and we decide together, and made sense. So
Okay, now which brewery did you work at when you were at Fort Collins?
I worked at a brewery called Horse and Dragon Brewing Company.
Okay, okay.
They were.
Was it a restaurant too?
Nope.
Okay, so it wasn't a restaurant. Okay, so and so the reason I ask is because when I was relocated up here in 2018, we drove from Texas, Fort Hood, Texas, all the way up through Canada in our RV to get here, and we stopped at one of the breweries in Fort Collins.
Yeah.
And so, but it had a restaurant too. So
Okay.
so that wasn't it then.
No. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's
so that would have been really weird. Like that would have been awesome
Yeah.
if it had been that same
Yeah.
brewery that you
Would've been-
came from.
Would have been pretty interesting.
No doubt, no doubt.
And I don't know if you know, Tilden, but Fort Collins is like the mecca of breweries.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of breweries there, and it was something to do with I guess the proximity to the grain. Josh could probably speak better to it, but there's, there's a few hubs in the lower 48 that are really known for breweries in Fort Collins.
Part of that is like New Belgium's right there in Fort Collins, right? So they're one of the largest craft breweries in the U.S.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people start working there, decide they want to start their own breweries, and then start one right down the road or whatever, right? So that kind of works out.
Yeah.
The college there has a fermentation science program also.
Gotcha.
So kind
Okay.
of
All right.
whole list.
What's funny about this whole conversation though is when Josh first came up here, is he was kind of on the fence. Like he liked the opportunity. He liked the opportunity. Alaska, right? There's a lot of interesting things. He loves the outdoors, so that's probably part of what drew him here. But
He came up in the summertime, didn't he?
no, he came up in November.
Oh.
And he first came up, was it September? It was a super cold September.
Like October 1st, it snowed like the day before we got here, my wife and I, to visit. And then I flew up in November after I decided to take the job.
Yeah.
And was here for like 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. And then I drove the Alcan the second week of December.
Wow.
Up
Oh,
here.
the second week of December.
Yeah.
Man, so you were driving through Canada when like every other gas station was closed.
Yep.
For the whole man, how'd you make it? A whole bunch of fuel cans, huh?
No, luckily the rig I was driving had about a 500-mile range, so I could make it.
Gotcha.
Most of the way. I had some backup gas in case.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
But your first time coming to Fairbanks, Alaska in the beginning of October, it's pretty dreary looking. It's pretty nasty looking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was like, "What the hell have I done?"
Yeah.
I was fine. That was my wife. My wife was like, I don't know about this.
Okay. All right.
How'd you guys fare with one of the coldest winters that we've had on record, just this past one? That was a rough one, wasn't it?
It's cold. I mean, I drove up here in 22, right?
Yeah.
December 22. So that was the one where we had all the snow and then the rain in December. So I got here like a week before that. So bought our house, moved into it in the middle of January with all the snow on the ground. So, but yeah, I mean, it's cold for sure. But as with most things we found, if you have the right gear, it's not too bad.
Oh, yeah.
But I do wish it was warmer than -40 for part of that stretch this last year,
So you guys must like it here because you're still around.
Yeah.
So this one's going to be directed more towards Andy and Zeb. What was one moment early on where you thought this might not work, and what kept you going?
I would say probably during the remodel.
Yeah.
I was a real optimist, I think, through the whole process, but there was a time during the remodel where we were probably like a year or 14 months in, and it was like, man, we've spent way too much money. We should be open by now, and I don't know if we have enough money to finish. And it was just one of those times where I think for like 4 or 5 months, just buckled down, didn't have, had to, make sure I had a cleared slate with everything else. And it was me and like 4 guys working 7/12s through the winter and the spring. I think we opened in May. And so anyway, there was a moment like December, January during that remodel where
Yeah. I mean, that was probably it for me too.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of thought this was going to take 6 to 9 months to renovate, and it took, close to 18,
Okay, now, so you guys came in after COVID, right, or before COVID?
Before COVID, we
right-
bought the building, right?
Yeah, we bought it in November of 2019 and then started the remodel, and we opened in 21, May of 21. So
Gotcha. All right.
And then when we opened, if you remember, they were tearing up this whole street over here next to us, which was a real big bummer.
Yeah.
Right. So this whole roundabout thing was getting installed. It was a nightmare for your first opening, and then the next season after that, they were doing the Steez construction. So it's been challenge after challenge.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, but you've got your faithfuls that have definitely kept the taps pouring. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So kudos to all of you guys who frequent Lat 65. But so not only Lat 65, but all of the local breweries, because we're gonna hit them all up. Don't worry about it. Just stay tuned and hit the subscribe button. And every time we hit up a different brewery, you guys will be sure to catch the episode as soon as I hit the send button and it gets through uploading on YouTube. On that note, what's something about brewing in the interior Alaska that brewers outside just wouldn't survive?
Josh is going to tee up here.
Yes, I was thinking Josh too as soon as I asked that question.
Wheelhouse,
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest difference just off the cuff is like the time delay between when you need something and when you can get it, right? I mean, everything comes up on barge to Alaska, and then having to plan that around your production schedule, where in the lower 48 I could order some grain and it get to my brewery 2 days later, basically. And for here, it's at least, if I can get it from the day I order to the dock for the right day, then it'll be about 8 days.
Oh, wow.
Maybe, if everything goes perfectly and barge isn't delayed or whatever. So you kind of have that extra lag in the beginning, like that lead time for counting on, like, okay, I need grain, I need hops, like those sorts of things that I could normally just like get drop shipped to me. It won't get drop shipped, or I'm gonna have to spend a ton of money to do it, right? So the biggest thing is just your planning for your materials, and those sorts of things are kind of the hardest. And then, with that, just if anything breaks, any equipment that I need replaced, I can't just go down to the local, Home Depot doesn't really have a lot of stuff that I use in here, right? I can make some stuff work, but stainless and all those sorts of things, where especially like in Fort Collins or Oregon, where I worked before, you could, go to Portland and there's a shop that sells brewery stuff, or other bigger breweries that you can like try them to get you to let you borrow something or give you something or whatever to get you through. But for like all these pumps and everything that I use and hoses, like those aren't just in stock in Fairbanks, even down in Anchorage. So
oh, really?
No, not really.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
Most of this stuff is pretty selective for this process. So
I guess the ratio of brewers or breweries to supply stores, I guess it really isn't economical for somebody to even think about putting a supply source up in Alaska.
No, not really. Okay. I mean, like Gabora's just down the street here has like some homebrew stuff, like you can get like grain and a couple of things, but like nothing that at my scale that would work, So, but yeah, just the availability of stuff is
I guess when everything is working, it's working. And it's very rarely that you have a major incident to where it would benefit having an in-source or in-state source for the repair part.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like I've had stuff pop up where it's like I've needed a part for a pump that took, a week and a half to get here, even expedited.
So even expedited took that long?
Yeah, sometimes.
Good Lord.
So, now I've got like spare parts of some of that stuff.
Yeah.
If I'm going to order one to replace one, I order two more just so that I have backups now,
True.
But and we're hitting 5 years now, so parts are starting to need to be replaced on the system, the consumables, seals, things like that. So as those things come up, I'm trying to do good preventative maintenance. But yeah, definitely the availability of stuff running a manufacturing facility is not very much here.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
I never thought about that, actually, until just now when you were talking about that. Being a brewer, or a brewer, as you are, is more than just knowing how to make the beer. You got to maintain all of your equipment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
like I said, I never thought about it until now.
No, at a smaller place, you wear a lot of hats. I mean, I do all the maintenance, I do all the troubleshooting. You know, if I have a problem on brew day, I can't like call up the manufacturer and be like, hey, what do I do? Like, I got to know what I'm doing enough for everything. You do a little bit of engineering, you do a little bit of chemistry, you do a bit of all of it, right? Yeah. And so that's what I like about working at a smaller brewery, is that it's you're hands-on on everything. You know, bigger breweries that I've worked at, you might have a maintenance guy who you can go talk to and be like, hey, like I need this part, and he'll take care of it. But no, it's me on my phone trying to order parts at 2:00 in the afternoon because something went wrong or whatever, So
Are you pretty familiar with YouTube University?
Yes. Yeah. Unsurprisingly though, not a lot of brewery specific stuff on there when it comes to,
could imagine, but
I can find a lot of good resources out there for some of the things that I've had to do, like our air compressor a couple of weeks ago. I had to repair down in the basement. So
oh wow, okay, all right.
I'm in the maintenance industry, and YouTube can sometimes be your best friend.
I would add one that probably a lot of brewers and breweries don't think about too, is cost.
Yeah.
You know, huge cost, for shipping and everything here, and it's really frustrating because every year you got a 7% increase, that goes up on our shipping. And yet you're kind of like, well, why? We already got a fuel surcharge in there. We already get charged for that.
Yeah.
Inflation's not rocking at 7% every year since we opened.
Yeah.
And that gets taxing.
Yeah, I know. So I know.
Well, one cool thing about the brewing industry, though, is it's a pretty cohesive bunch, and if you get in a bind.
Yeah.
I think Josh just said he was down at Hoodoo Bar on a brick of yeast.
I texted Bobby. I texted all the breweries actually on Tuesday, and I was like, hey, I'm short like one thing. It's coming next week. Do you guys have it?
Yeah.
Bobby happened to have some. So it's very, especially in this community, like I've given bags of grain to other people, or people have like had stuff for me if I'm short something, so you can always count on them to pitch in, and because you want everybody to succeed. So
that's awesome. So how much is like the environment up here in Italian brew beer? Do you specialize in one type more during the summer versus winter?
Yeah, I mean, in Fairbanks, definitely we get summer tourism, right? So our tasting rooms got more people in it, typically in the summertime than the wintertime, which leads itself to brew potentially more beers that tourists would expect to see in the lower 48 that maybe don't sell. Not that they sell bad in the wintertime, but just like our locals beer palette is definitely different than what you might find in the lower 48, just for Fairbanks specifically, right? You get people who are like, oh, Alaskan Amber, right? It's like, you don't really find amber beers anywhere else in the lower 48, not prolifically, right? You're not going to find an amber ale on. So like we've got our red that we do. But in terms of like the environment and the temperature and stuff, it doesn't terribly impact like what I'm doing, other than just like the typical seasonal sort of like, obviously in the winter it's really cold. People tend to like stronger, darker beers. In the summertime, it's endless sunshine, brew, hoppier, lighter beers that people want to drink all day.
Right.
It goes most places that you're at, but up here you obviously have a much greater swing between, dark and light. So, but yeah, it's one of those where you're always trying to find something new or some sort of like, not niche, but when people are coming up here from the lower 48, like what can you give them that is like Alaskan specific, or what can show off Fairbanks stuff. So some of the like fruits that you might find in Alaska, right? Like you see a lot of spruce tip beers, see stuff like that. I haven't done any of those, but it's always like in the back of the mind, like what can get people excited and say like, oh, I had this great beer in Alaska that they wouldn't get anywhere else. So
Okay.
What's the most only in Alaska problem that you guys have had to solve or figure out or deal with?
Probably licensing. It's pretty unique.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't want to go down that road right now. Licensing in Alaska is just a nightmare, but
I'll give them an overview if you don't want to go down.
Sure.
that road.
Sure.
Back in the pipeline days, they felt like Fairbanks had too many bars, right?
Right.
And so the city decided, okay, no more liquor licenses.
Oh wow.
And it was, a nominal fee to the state to get a liquor license. Well, once they wouldn't issue any more, these liquor licenses started becoming a real commodity if you had one.
Yeah.
So you wanted to retire, you could sell it to somebody else that couldn't get one, right?
Ooh wee.
And so
so I don't mean to cut you off. So you're saying that after or during the pipeline days when they cut it off, they have not issued, so the liquor licenses that were around back then are still being recycled to this day?
Yeah.
Or there haven't been any more?
They're on a per capita basis, so it's the population of the city determines how many licenses are out and available.
Okay.
Or could be available. And Fairbanks, since it was really big, 70s, 80s, had a much larger population, so they gave out all those liquor licenses based on that population.
Yeah.
They won't take them away from you, but they won't issue any new ones. So as our population has decreased, we actually are like overinflated in terms of the number of licenses that are in our town.
Oh, really?
So if any of them lapse, someone doesn't want one anymore, like that one will get pulled. But as long as you keep up on your fees and stuff, like they can't take them away.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know for a fact that Fairbanks was bigger, but to Josh's point, like back then they might not have regulated how many liquor licenses they gave out back then, and then at some point they made that law, and it's per 3,000 people, right? So there's per capita basis, right? Okay. So like now we're over the amount of liquor licenses is in this town, so that's why you can't get one, right? You can't just pay the state fee like a brewery and anything else, You have to find that liquor license from someone, and it's going to cost you.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, but long story short, when breweries started popping up, they made exceptions for breweries, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, they're not a bar, and there were some exceptions made that put a bunch of limitations on breweries.
Okay.
You had all these bar owners say, hey, this guy can't just start making beer and pay $1,000 for his license. I had to buy my license from Joe that was retiring, and I paid $50,000, right?
Yeah.
And so there were all these rules for breweries. You had limited hours, limited consumption, couldn't have a dartboard or a pool table, you couldn't play games, you couldn't be a bar in essence.
Yeah.
Right.
No TVs.
And so that's a very unique Alaska situation. And then to get around that, about a year ago, we bought a liquor license, not so that we could be a bar, but just so that we had more freedom with the stuff that we do here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
Give me 36 cents.
Yeah, I was gonna say, name of your podcast, really.
I'm sure everybody here probably visits breweries when you're down in the States or whatever, but like you're saying, it's a very unique thing to Alaska. Every time I go out of state, no matter where I've gone to Arkansas, Washington, Nevada. We were even over in Washington, D.C., and I always try to visit breweries, and none of them have the restrictions or the limits
Right.
a brewery license would have to have. I know you guys have your liquor license, correct? Right?
Yeah. Closed at 8 o'clock,
Well, change.
Yeah, but those rules don't exist down there. Not anywhere I've been. Anyways. That is very unique.
The only other state in the country that has an ounce limit for breweries is Montana.
Montana, 48 ounces. Yeah, I heard about that
3
one.
pints.
Oh, really?
I've never been to a brewery in Montana though.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I hit up Missoula and Bozeman a couple of times.
I'll be damned.
But it's the only other state in the country that has a strict ounce limit like we do in Alaska.
Ouch.
And unfortunately, those in Montana, all the breweries are in Bozeman and Missoula that doesn't use.
Yeah.
They definitely aren't going to try to restrict how much you're drinking.
Yeah. All right, so we're on to our next question. If someone says, give me the beer that defines this place, what do you hand to them?
I'm handing him a New Sun, but I'm an IPA guy.
Okay, now, so is that what's pictured here?
Yeah, that's New Sun.
So that's what's pictured here. And so we're going to go back to camera 1 and Otto. Okay, now, so Josh, can you tell us a little bit about what I'm going to put it back. Okay, can you tell us a little bit about what we're looking at here?
Yeah, so this is our New Sun IPA. It's a sort of West Coast, Northwest style IPA, a little bit on the more bitter side, but a really basic malt bill. Some of those sort of pine, resin, citrus hops. It's a style of beer that when I was in college, craft beer was getting really big. Mm-hmm. The really high IBU beers, 100 plus IBU beers. I don't know if you guys were drinking craft beer at that time, but that was like, that was the first sort of foray into how many hops can you put in a beer, is how bitter can you make it, right? And so this is sort of a correction of that, is after that happened, at least where I was at in Oregon, these sorts of beers kind of came on the scene where they were more balanced, they're still bitter, but a lot more hop aroma forward. It's the style that I like to make the most, and it's the beer that we actually sell the most of here at the brewery.
Yeah. Now, so is it more of a tourist beer, or do you have a lot of locals that drink it too?
A lot of locals drink it because it's our #1 seller. So,
okay, all right.
It's pretty approachable, even though it is the most bitter on our menu. It's still not crazy bitter, so it's approachable for everybody. But it is definitely a IPA for people who are like, oh, I don't like hops or I don't like bitter beers. It's like you can try it, you might like it.
Yeah,
it's not as offensive as other ones, but it's definitely for the people who like those hops and bitterness. That's what they.
All right.
For an IPA, it's pretty smooth, but it still has that bitter bite to it, like you're talking about. But speaking of New Sun, because I've been wanting to ask this question, I haven't got an answer. When is the Double Sun going to be back? Because that's like I love the New Sun, but when that Double Sun came out, I really love that.
Yeah, I don't know yet. We'll see.
Not sure.
I mean, I like making new stuff, so it's hard if you only make the beers that you've never made before. You're never gonna make any new stuff, right? Like even with all of our taps, people ask all the time, when's this coming back? When's that coming back? And it's like maybe sometime, maybe never. Like we obviously have the stuff that's on all the time, but if I don't get a chance to experiment, I get bored. And then drinkers, I like to push them to try some new stuff.
I hope to see it one day again.
Yeah.
And every time you make something new, that becomes somebody's favorite beer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And then they expect you to keep it forever and an eternity.
Yep. Or at least want you to. But you got 27 taps or something.
Yeah.
Not 185.
You got like a keg or a case of Crowlers hiding in the back. I could sneak some out of it.
All got drink.
This is my turn, isn't it?
It's on you, sir.
That's all right. So, if you got a beer that you thought was going to be great, all that, but the customers just didn't like it.
Do I have a beer like that?
Yeah.
Or have or had.
Yeah. I mean, I usually only try to make beers that I personally would like to drink. Obviously, not all of them resonate with everybody. Some beers that we have on all the time are our dark saison and our regular saison. Those are ones that aren't necessarily super popular stylistically. The dark saison does really well. I actually make that in the fooder behind you guys, which is that wooden tank behind you guys. And it gets well received. A lot of people like it who have never heard of saisons or anything. The regular saison's more of just kind of a basic version of a sort of French Belgian saison style. I keep it on mostly just because I use it as a in-between when I'm brewing, and I'll add fruit to some of it, not add fruit to the other stuff. And that one definitely moves the slowest. I don't know if I'd say it's not well received. It's just different enough for a lot of people that it's got some weird flavors that people don't necessarily equate with the beers that they like to drink. It's got some of that pepperiness, and it's called esters, but that sort of floral pepperiness, in the aroma profile that's yeast driven, so it comes from the yeast as opposed to hops, and some people just don't really go for that. So I'd say that's the most not controversial or disliked beer, but the people who really like it, and the people who don't like it.
Yeah.
So this one's going to be directed at you again.
Okay.
What is the most creative or the most borderline crazy thing that you ever tried to brew?
Here specifically, or just ever?
Ever.
Yeah.
All right. I think, I don't know about, I'm not necessarily a super crazy brewer when it comes to the recipe development of beers. I like to make a lot of different styles of beers, but I'm not necessarily pushing the envelope of is this beer still, if I do all this crazy stuff? There are a lot of brewers in this industry that's what they like to do. What is the boundary of, is it still beer? Does it taste like beer? Whatever. The craziest thing that I've done personally is a white stout or a blonde stout. I don't know if you guys are familiar with those, but basically it's, so it's basically taking the flavors of a stout but putting it into a beer that is light in color. So when you hold it up, it would look like, lighter than an amber even, like a pretty basic beer color. But when you drink it, it has, some chocolate notes, some coffee notes, and roast notes and things like that. It's
still kind of thick.
No, it's like really light.
Or is it pretty smooth and easy to drink?
It's smooth. It's you do a lot during the brewing process to try and get those flavors out of the malt without giving the color that those malts usually won't lend to the beer, right? So like stouts and things are dark typically because of the malts that you're using are darker roasted, and so that adds color to the beer. And so if you try to use those malts in any capacity when you're making like a blonde stout, it'll make the beer dark. And so you have to do a lot of like trickery during the brewing process to
persuasion.
Yeah, sort of. Like you distill the essence without getting the color is kind of a trick. And so definitely the thing that I've like had to pull out, it's the most complicated beer that I've made to try and hit that flavor profile without hitting the color. And they're tricky to do. So
I've never heard of that before, so that's
they're not crazy popular. It's one of those where like someone will try one and be like, yeah, it's interesting, but I don't want it. So that's why I don't really make them. Just it's a fun experiment, but not really a like you're gonna sell a ton of it.
You did it. You can say you did it. And now you're on to the next thing.
Now, so you touched on this question, so I'm not gonna even ask it again. But so you did clarify that you brew more for your own taste.
Yes, okay. I tell people every beer on the board I drink or would drink, some places, Andy and Zeb, it's a testament to them as owners that they're not trying to backseat what I'm doing, they're not telling me I got to make this or whatever. Definitely have friends who work in the industry who ownership or will be like, we got to brew this new, crazy, trendy, whatever, right? And if your brewer's not on board, you're not necessarily going to get the best product, in my opinion, from what you usually see.
So I'm going to skip to the next question. All right.
Okay.
But before I do that, though, I do have so you're a college educated chemist, basically.
Yeah, I have a minor in chemistry.
Okay, so are you a Star Wars fan?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you remember The Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah.
When Luke had to go back to Yoda to continue his training?
Mm-hmm.
Is that like as a brewer, once you receive your degree and now you're out here in Fairbanks, Alaska, doing what you're doing, do you ever have to go back and retrain or to become a Jedi master? Like how does that work?
There's a lot of things in this industry that are always happening every year, like annual sort of meetings, educational seminars, things like that. Up here in Alaska, we have our Alaska Brewers Guild, who puts on a beer judging event, Alaska Beer Awards, that I think this last year was the third year of it. So we enter beers into that, and then during the medal ceremony, when they're handing out all the medals, the day before is a technical talk. Basically, they fly in or call in a bunch of industry professionals across different industries to talk about like different aspects of brewing beer, basically. So that's one of the cool things that the guild does up here in Alaska. And then there's obviously like national versions of that are happening.
Right.
Craft Brewers Conference is the big one, CBC, but that moves around every year. I think it's happening in Philadelphia either this weekend or this last weekend. But that's like 3 days of like technical talks across any aspect of the industry that you want to like learn about. There's a lot of online resources. So for me personally, it's like always trying to keep up. This industry, I've been in it for over a decade. Like the face of beer has changed during that time, right? Just like what's popular. Non-alcoholic, low-alcohol beers are really popular right now, industry-wide, and those require a certain amount of technical brewing to produce them effectively, so you get all the flavors. And that's something that, like, when I was going to college, that wasn't really ever talked about because they weren't big, they weren't popular. The only thing that you ever thought about for like non-alcohol beer was like O'Doul's, right? But now you go in a liquor store and there's a whole wall of all these different breweries making zero alcohol beer that still tastes like beer. And so like training yourself up on those sorts of new technologies, new yeast, new ways to brew.
Yeah.
There's a lot of online resources for that, which is great.
And so you're still learning.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's important to continue to expand your knowledge base in what you've chosen to do. So that's what I try to do.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I'm going to jump to the next question real quick. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the business side. All right. And so my question is, okay, what's been harder than you expected? Making great beer or running a business?
I'm going to pause you for just a minute. I'm looking around at all of our glasses and they're dry.
Yes,
do you want me to get you a beer? Do you want to put a pause on things?
Yes, okay. Please. I was going to ask a little later if we could do a beer break, but thank you. Read my mind.
Okay. Let's put a pause on this. We get you a beer.
All right. Okay, so next question. You guys ready?
We're ready.
All right. Okay, so what's been harder than you expected? Making great beer or running the business?
Well, for us, I would say running the business because we don't make the beer.
Okay. All right.
That's all Josh.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, it's not. We're pretty blessed. We have really good staff. Josh obviously runs operations. Trisha is our manager. You know, she's managing, kind of day-to-day operations on like office type tasks and staff. And yes, we do deal with stuff, right? We have a couple meetings a week and I'm getting calls or emails or stuff from Josh, but it's not like we got a really good group, and we got a really good group of employees that, we've cycled through ones that are not great, right? Just every business does. But I also feel like we got a good niche, we're not a full-on bar. We're not making mixed drinks.
Right.
We're dealing with awesome customers, the ones that come all the time, the new ones that, are tourists and people that just locals that have never been here. But, these guys are just putting smiles on their faces and serving beer, right?
Yeah.
They're pulling a tap, serving beer. They're doing cleaning and things like that, but they're not stuck in greasy kitchens and that kind of stuff. Ted has his kitchen, which is wonderful. His people are awesome as well, but I think he has a little bit harder task when it comes to employees and stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's a little harder industry.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So I would say that we're really blessed. Is there things that we're doing meeting-wise weekly and talking to each other, even not when we're meeting, when it comes to planning for the future, build outs on the other side of the building, budgetary things, what are we doing with this money? How are we bettering the business? Right? Just because in every business you have to evolve, right? You have to continue to grow. And I guess if you're not changing and you're not growing, you're kind of getting stagnant.
Right.
So those are the things that we're doing from the management and ownership side, just to continue to try to make the place better.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
You got anything to add to that?
I would just sort of reiterate that it's easy for us to hire people because I think a lot of young people like to work at breweries.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's a double-edged sword because, we're not a big company that offers full benefits, and it's a temporary job for a lot of people. So we've had some great people come and go, right, just because of other life circumstances.
Right.
We're always, looking out for talent, and we're lucky to have some talented people that we managed to hang on to.
Yeah, good deal. All right.
Okay.
Well, I was just say I'll add to that. I really like your guys' crew here that runs the bar side or the tap. What do you call them? What are they? Tap room.
Bartender.
Okay, so you do call them bartenders?
Yeah.
Now, everybody who's over there is always very friendly, very nice, and does a great job. So
That's good to hear. That means a lot because that's why people keep coming back, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so what's a mistake that you made that actually made the company better?
I would say the size of our brew house. This is going to be a big topic of debate here.
Oh, I could think of a couple, but
when we first
keep
built
things
this place,
professional. One of them's not going to make the air, but yeah.
When we first built this place, so we started when we built this place. Josh wasn't here. We started with another brewer. We found somebody here locally that was actually an Air National Guard guy that had a lot of brewing experience.
Yeah.
And he came on to help us get started.
Mm-hmm.
He helped us design the place. His name was Adam Keel.
Yeah.
And he actually ended up helping us do a national search to find Josh.
Yeah.
But in that process, Adam, who helped us build this place, had a different sort of brewing philosophy than Josh, right? Mm-hmm. So Josh shows up. He's like, why in the hell is your brew house so damn big? You guys you don't have a canning line. You got this, you just started. You got this small following. But there has been some times, I think, when Josh has used the full capacity of our oversized brew house to make his day go easier.
Yeah. Well, okay. So you're saying this is oversized?
So I'm gonna let Josh take it from here.
Yeah.
Put me on the spot. So we have a 20-barrel brew house.
And tell them what you're talking about when you say the brew house, because I think a lot of people.
Sure. So the brew house is with the actual back there in the corner, which is the vessels that on brew day I'm taking our raw grains or our malted barley and turning it into wort, which then gets fermented in the fermenters. But in this back corner here, we got 3 vessels, 3-vessel brew house. Its size is 20 barrels. That's the size that we use in the U.S. for measuring beer. It's 31 gallons. Your standard keg is a half barrel, so it's 15 and a half gallons. So for every full batch of beer that I brew, these conical fermenters here, these 3 are 20-barrel fermenters, so that's 40 kegs that you're going to get out of those, basically, right? What Andy's talking about, us being oversized, is there's a bit of a disconnect between the size of the brew house and then how many beers we have on tap, right? When I showed up, we got 28 possible taps. We can only sell so much beer across our own bar. The town's not that big, so you want beer to be fresh and you want to move through batches of beer in as fast as you can. Fresh beer is better, basically. And so if you want to fill all those taps and brew batches this size, like, you're always going to have old beer. And so that's a little bit of a juggling act. But by being a really big brewery, you do get some efficiencies and economies of scale, especially for things like our New Sun and our Ptarmigan Pilsner that are best sellers. Like, those I can absolutely brew full batches of. Some of the other more niche stuff, I just have to kind of, brew smaller stuff and utilize less of the overall potential just to make sure we go through it fast enough.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Which, I guess I would add to this a little bit too, but this probably takes a little bit of creativity away from Josh a little bit at some levels, right? Because, you can't brew too small of a batch on that system. Right. And so he's kind of limited.
There's like a minimum size. You can't just be like, oh, I only want to make like 4 kegs of this beer. Like, I can't do that on this system, right? So, and when it comes to, like, you want to have, right now I think I counted today, I got 13 different things on tap, which is pretty light for us normally. Like, next week I got 2 more things coming back, so that'll be 15. But usually we're around the 18 to 20 mark.
And so I'm assuming that's in the summertime. Or is it annually, like all year long?
We're usually somewhere between about 15 to 20, pretty much all year round.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just as things come on and go off. I usually have a couple more ciders on. I only have 1 right now, so that kind of also gives some diversity there.
Yeah.
But the being able to fill out that tap wall, have all those taps full of beer, is something that I would like to do, but you're always going to have your worst selling beer, your slowest selling beer, right? And so, someone might love it, but they can only drink so much beer a day, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
So you run into that sort of issue where it's like, oh, I have ideas of all these other beers I'd like to make, but I can't make them because we got to get through what we have.
Right.
So there's always...
What you need is like an experimental batch.
Yeah, like a little tiny guy that I could pump out.
Spare rooms or something.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of places do that. I've done that at other breweries whenever you want to really experiment with other stuff. Here, I'm pretty fortunate to be able to still fit in new stuff and, well-received stuff. And so maybe someday, if we get to the point where we're locked in on a couple of really big brands, when we, if we get bigger or whatever, then a smaller system might make more sense.
Well, okay, so it's not if, it's when we get bigger.
Yeah.
It's when we get bigger. All right.
So you can start canning and distributing in Anchorage.
Yeah.
We have plans for a canning line at some point here in the future, but we're going to get through that remodel first. And we want to grow at a pace that's achievable too, right? That's not stressful on Josh and us.
Well, because it is marathon. You know what I'm saying? Because no need to sprint.
No.
Yeah. We're 5 years in. We're still growing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's slow measured.
Yeah.
So.
That's good.
Pleto, he says slow is fast, right?
Slow is fast. Slow is fast, boys.
I have to ask a question before I ask this question. Has there ever been a brewery in Alaska that I don't know of any that has started and failed or shut down? Does anybody know?
Oh, sure. I mean, if the history of Fairbanks, I think there was at least 2 breweries that were around in the 1920s, 1930s.
Oh, right, but this is like
You're talking modern day.
Modern, yeah.
I mean, there was one in Sitka just a couple years ago, right? That I was watching an auction and they were selling off all their equipment.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it does happen. I mean, I don't know if there's examples in Fairbanks that are modern day, but.
I don't think this question is really going to have a good answer. Then I'm just going to move on to the next one. Until then, you can
Go ahead.
You can edit that out if you want to.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
How would you describe the personality of your brewery if it were a person?
Moose Camp.
He said Moose Camp. That's a good one.
That's not a person.
Okay.
Well,
I like that.
Honey, at some point today.
I like that vibe though.
Moose Camp can be a person.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's one guy who's
You
he's
never
the Moose Camp.
don't ever make that guy.
He makes it Moose Camp.
Yeah. I've been to your Moose Camp.
You have.
Or your
Yes.
family Moose Camp.
Yes.
Yeah. I like Moose Camps. Yeah.
Person.
For me, that's kind of a tough one. I feel like you go into some breweries, and I'm just not speaking locally, I'm just speaking in general. I feel like you have a particular vibe when you go in, right? But I feel like we have a really diverse group that comes here.
Yeah.
I see everything from business professionals, white collar workers, blue collar workers, students. I mean, everything from one end of the spectrum to the other. So that makes me really proud, actually, that everybody feels like they can be here, right? And feel welcomed here and likes our beer. And so we got a lot of space, that may be the reason. Maybe they don't like our beer that much. Maybe they just like to be inside during the winter. But yeah.
It's a pretty good atmosphere here.
Thanks.
I would say.
It's a very nice atmosphere. It's a very nice atmosphere.
I like the space. I like the room. I like just how everything looks. It's very kind of modern yet comfortable and relaxing. You don't feel like you're overwhelmed here.
Yeah.
So
that's what we're going for. The other side's going to have a little bit different vibe. I mean, some of the similar vibe, but we're going to have some TVs over there, kind of playing sports and things like that. And then big game days, we'll probably have some.
Over there.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's on me now?
If you want to go, I can go for another one.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, so what kind of crowd do you love seeing walk through your doors? I guess you've already kind of sort of hit on this a little bit, but can you elaborate a little bit more if you want to?
I like it when I'm upstairs or I'm, over on the other side working on something, and I just hear people laughing and talking. And I hear things like, "Hey, man, where you been? It's been so long since I've seen you." Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And also we get families, we get people in here with little kids. This is a place a young couple can come and have a beer when they can't find a babysitter.
Yeah.
Sundays is a big family day for us with the food and the wings and stuff.
I had this thing where every summer I bring my grandkids up, and they love your root beer, man.
Okay.
That's good. Yeah. They love the root beer. It's like, oh, can we go back to last 65? I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's go. But then, because I'm because they call me G-Man because I'm too cool to be a grandpa, right? So they call me G-Man. They're like, G-Man, can we go root beer and then go get some ice cream? I'm like, well, what about regular food? So yeah, I kind of sort of. So I hope my daughter isn't watching this. But I kind of sort of screw up their eating habits when they come up here for a month.
Did they set that name up for you, or did you make them say that name?
Zeb wants to know because Zeb's a grandpa.
I kind of sort of, when my first grandbaby, Malia, she's about to be 13, and when she was born, I was like, I'm not grandpa. No, call me G-Man. And so she started calling me G-Man. So now I have 6 grandkids, and
Nice.
they all call me G-Man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't G-Man also the name for an FBI agent?
It might be,
It is.
It is.
but I'm not FBI though.
Okay.
I'm
You
just,
had me fooled.
I just want to clarify that. Just want to clarify that. Okay. It's on you, or is it on?
Well, actually, so I just kind of wanted to touch on the whole family friendly. Kids are welcome. You guys are partially like dog friendly too. As
Oh,
long as
yeah,
it's,
on
like,
the patio.
outside on the patio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and was that a tough decision, or how did that come about?
We used to kind of be dog friendly inside too, but I think something happened right around the time. I don't even know that it was food related. It was before Ted was here.
Yeah.
But I think somebody complained because, we're a production facility, which makes sense. It's fine.
You're talking about state law, right?
Well, you know what though? They've never been to Europe.
Probably DEC. I mean, it's probably a DEC. But
Well, you
anyway,
know what though? They've never been to Europe.
yeah.
They've never. So I remember
he
my
has a
first
story.
time. Yeah. So my first time in Europe, it was 1996, and I'm in Vilseck, Germany, and I go to McDonald's, and not only can you drink a beer at McDonald's, and so like there are no inhibitions like in Europe, right? Like, so you're at like a table like this. It's just you and your wife, and there's 2 open chairs. In Europe, 2 Germans will come and sit right there in those chairs, and like you don't even know them.
Yeah.
But that's the way it is, though, right?
Yeah.
But so this one particular time, I'm in McDonald's, I'm eating my Big Mac, and I'm drinking my beer, and the guy sits down right next to me with this German Shepherd, and I'm like, what the?
And they shed a lot.
And we're in
Got, like,
McDonald's.
ears coming up in your
We're in
burger.
McDonald's. I'm like, holy crap! I'm eating my Big Mac and drinking a beer, sitting next to a German Shepherd.
So have you ever been to a beer hall?
Well, I've been to the beer tents.
So I mean, like in Germany, the beer hall, like
Oh, yeah, of course.
they're all just big tables. Everybody
Yeah,
sits
yeah,
next
yeah.
to
So everybody is just sitting there.
Down in Seattle, there's one. I don't know. You guys might know of this one, Queen Anne's Beer Hall. It's kind of downhill from the Space Needle, from the Climate Pledge Arena, but it's authentic German type seating. It's just these big tables, and it's the first time I ever experienced it. And like you said, you'd be sitting there, me, Parker, and my wife and everybody would be sitting there.
Yeah.
And then another group would just come sit right next to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, okay,
And they're
this is
generally
weird.
pretty nice people.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, it was,
Yeah,
it was
but
interesting.
because we're not used to that
Yeah.
in America, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
so-
it's great. I love it.
Yeah.
You get to meet new people, and I
Yeah.
think it's awesome.
So what,
Exactly.
a year and a half ago, the 3 of us were in Munich
Yeah.
at Oktoberfest.
Oh, you guys went to. Oh, yeah,
that's
you
been
guys.
a while.
Yeah.
Josh had been there before, and he
I had
no.
not.
Oh, you had
Thomas.
Okay, Thomas had been there before. And anyway, it was a great time. Exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You're sitting at a huge table with a ton of strangers.
Did you guys relocate any of the actual steins? I still got. Well, I got some in my house.
Relocate.
Did not.
No, we did not.
I think my wife bought like a tourist stein for $100.
Okay.
but,
Okay.
I mean, yeah. I mean, 1 minute you're sitting there with strangers, and an hour later you're just singing.
Best friends.
Standing on
Yeah,
the
that's
benches,
right. Singing
singing
a chorus.
songs.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. I loved. I want to go back, but I'll get there eventually. I mean, because I still work for the DoD, and they could still. But see, I've been here so long, I don't want to go from Alaska back over to Europe. I'm gonna have to do some stateside time, lower 48 time, before they send me to Germany for 3 years. But I want to do that again as a civilian. I was over there in the military, but if I go back as a civilian, oh my gosh. It's going to be so much more fun because there's so much more freedom that you have as a civilian,
Yeah.
as opposed to a green suiter.
Yeah.
Shout out to all my green suiters out there. Thank you guys for your service. So who's it on?
Hey, I stole it from Jeff. It's definitely Jeff's turn.
Okay, go ahead, Jeff. Tag, you're it.
So when it hit you that your brewery had become part of the community?
I can answer this one, but it was what I've already said. It was when I was upstairs and I overheard conversations down. Like I'd been working on this place, blood, sweat, and tears, both of us, and we were finally open. And just all the voices that I was hearing downstairs, and you hear 2 friends run into each other, and it's just like, oh man, now we've done something really cool here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the coolest place. I mean, that's the coolest thing about this place is what we've all created together, with Josh and everybody that's been part of it is, We used to be an athletic club, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people in this town that have really great memories of that Alaska club too. You know, I met my husband there, like some people say, or whatever. You know, I worked here, or anyway. So that's what's cool, and that gives me a lot of pride that we took an old building and, you know, renovated it. Right. I mean, it's not all done, right? We still need siding that we need to do eventually, and there's just a lot of stuff that comes up on a big building like this. But, you know, we talked about building new. We had some other locations that we had planned for that, but this one just ultimately came through. So yeah, I would agree with Andy. It's just, you know, hearing everybody here, seeing everybody having a good time.
Right. What Josh, I'm curious, what event, or is there an event that you think connects us to the community more than any other thing?
I think in my opinion, it's more of a gradual thing. Like we've, since I've been here, we've taken on more in terms of like hosting community events, right? Like having this be welcoming to the community, I think is really important to give everybody a place to come. But like we've started doing trivia nights, right? And most of those are being co-hosted with some local organization in the community who's helping write the questions. Like we did the Train Association one time, and we've done like the local rugby club, and we've done some book stuff and stuff like that, right? So this like gradual sort of pulling in from the community, and then you finally hit a tipping point where all of a sudden you're being approached by all these different groups. Like, hey, can we come have an event at your place? Like, we don't want any money other than we just want like a space or whatever, right? And like that feels really good to get approached and people want to come here and host their thing, right? Like we get called all the time about like, can we have our, you know, wedding shower or whatever? And we're like, no, because we don't have the space for that, because you guys want to do it on a Friday night and it's already going to be busy. But you know, we're top of mind for some of that stuff, which is great to see this grow to that, especially being here pretty soon after we open. Like I've been here from the beginning of that sort of slow acceleration into, you know, First Friday being packed every First Friday, and just Fridays and Saturdays having things. We started doing live music, bands approaching us about playing here, you know, like those sorts of things kind of just incrementally build on each other until now. That's most of what Trisha is doing, is sort of that community outreach, engagement, planning these events and stuff, because it's turned into its own job, right? So
okay, so before we go any further, I want to take this opportunity to personally give you guys some kudos. And so you guys don't know this is coming, but and a lot of people don't understand. Well, so a lot of people say support local businesses, support your community, right? But so one day I was leaving the parking lot, right? And I happened to look over at your two dumpsters, right? And I noticed that those dumpsters are not from the same company. They're from two different companies. That's the only place I've ever seen that, which means that you support not only Golden Heart, you support, well, what's the other one?
Alaska Waste.
Alaska Waste. Yeah. So you've got two different dumpsters out there.
Yeah.
That right there, sir, that right there deserves some accolades, because that's all about supporting your community, because you do apparently need two dumpsters.
Yeah.
But instead of getting both dumpsters from one place, you chose to let's spread the love.
We got one cardboard. We got one for cardboard and one for trash. So one deals with one and one deals with
the recycled cardboard.
Yes. Yeah. So kudos to these guys for really exemplifying and you know, walking the walk and talking the talk about community support, because you didn't have to do that.
Tilden's the only guy that ever knows that.
Really? I'm the only guy that ever knows that?
Yeah, that's the first person that's ever said it.
Really?
Yeah, it's good. That's good observation.
Yeah, because I was like, well, because I know both. You know, I know both, and so I respect both, and I'm like, wow. So this is amazing right here. So this is showing some love right here for real.
Yeah, it could have just been that, you know, one dumpster is theirs and the other one is theirs and smoke.
No. It's for recycling cardboard.
Yeah.
Jeff, quit trying to take away their glory.
Exactly, Jeff. Exactly, Jeff.
We have very small recycling opportunities in this town. But we took the one that we knew we could do. So,
okay, so I'm going to ask the next question. All right, you guys ready?
Well, no, before that, no, that's fine. He can have the next question, but I have something I want to add on to what Josh was talking about.
Okay, so you say you want to segue?
Yes, I'm going to segue.
Okay, thank you for saying that.
Just for a quick one.
Thank you for segueing. I'm not the only one who segues.
I try to.
Okay.
So back to like what you guys were talking about, like entertainment and people want to do new things here. I think it's important for all of our viewers and all of your fans and your patrons to know about your upcoming 5-year birthday bash. Is that right?
Okay.
It's going to be pretty big, huh? I heard there's going to be like live bands, tents outside.
Yeah, we're gonna close down the back parking lot. It's gonna be kind of an all-day thing. Throughout the day, there'll be some food vendors. Ted will, of course, his kitchen will be open. I think he's gonna have his food truck out there outside as well. We have a couple other food vendors, and then we're gonna have some other stuff for kids and people like ice cream, and we're gonna have some cornhole outside. Maybe make it a little cornhole tournament.
Yeah.
So we haven't finalized all of the features outside, but then we're gonna have a couple openers for bands and then a headliner. So
Okay, now what's the date?
Is it 16th or 14th? 16th. May 16th.
Okay, so
Yeah, May 16th.
So before I go any further, okay, guys. So you can find us on all your audio normals, Spotify, Apple, Pandora, etc., etc. Okay, and if you're watching this video, you can find us on YouTube TV. Now, I don't mean to put anybody on the spot, but we do have a Facebook presence too, and the web manager for the Facebook page is none other than Brandon Waller. Now, I'm not going to tell you when the last time it was updated was. I'm not going to tell you that. But hopefully, the next time you view our Facebook page, it will have this episode on it and the one we just did. But fingers crossed.
I was on a little bit of a hiatus there, but I actually have
You on a sabbatical?
whatever you want to call it.
You went on a sabbatical.
I currently have the next post almost ready. I've been working on it. I want it to look good, especially because I've been gone for so long. So don't worry, it's happening.
Okay, so we're going to post links. I'm going to post links to those. Andy, Zeb, Josh, are there any socials that I can post in the description on this episode?
We have a Facebook and an Instagram.
Facebook, Instagram, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But I couldn't. I mean,
but yeah, Lat 65 Brew, I think, is the.
No, because I went to that, and it keeps on telling me this link is. Never mind. You know what though? I'm gonna post that link because eventually
talk about it afterwards.
Because eventually the link is gonna go live. So I'm gonna put all social links and the last 65 link. I'm gonna put it in the descriptions. So when it does become live one day, you guys will already have it.
perfect.
Appreciate that.
Perfect. Not a problem. Not a problem. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next question. Okay, so be honest. What are you guys drinking when you're not drinking your own beer? I mean, so it could be another beer. It could be a whiskey. It could be a bourbon. It could be a tequila. It could be whatever. But like, what are you drinking?
So I'm a really cheap date for me. It's like it's Crown and Diet Coke.
Okay. All right.
That's a cheap date.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
So for me, if I'm drinking beer,
He said when you're not drinking Lat.
yeah, it's probably King Street's IPA.
That's a good one.
I like the Juno Juice Hazy IPA as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple other ones I'm spacing right now, but if I'm not drinking Lad, it's probably one of those, and if not that, it's probably, a variety of whiskeys.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Now, so are you whiskey guy, bourbon guy, what?
I'm a little bit of both. Yeah, I'm not super picky.
Okay. Now, so what proof are you at?
What proof?
Yeah.
He's 80 all the way.
80? There's no flavor in 80, sir.
He doesn't.
We need to get you up in the 110s or higher.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where the flavor is.
Okay.
Have you ever took the Jack Daniels distillery tour?
No.
Oh, bro.
He does like Bullet. Does that count? That's like.
Oh, yeah.
90
Oh,
or 100.
oh, well, because that
Yeah.
Bullet Rye,
Yeah.
that's a good
one.
That's a good pour right there.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a damn good pour. Oops, let me get my questions back up because
How about Josh?
I want to hear Josh answer that. I think I know what Josh is going to say.
You think so?
I think you're going to say Jameson.
Yeah, it depends how I'm feeling. But yeah, usually I'm bouncing between either bourbon or like an Irish whiskey, like Jameson or Bullet, or kind of my.
Okay, now Jameson Black or just Jameson straight up regular?
Usually regular.
Okay.
I'm not too picky.
Gotcha.
So.
Have you tried that red breast though?
I have, yeah. I mean, I drink a lot more than that. It's just.
I'm currently on that red breast with in the black box. I think it's the single malt.
It's probably outside of my price range.
This is a Jameson product.
No, it's a red breast.
Oh, red breast.
Red breast. Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Is it Irish whiskey?
Oh yes, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
I have to try that.
Oh, you've never had red breast? Ooh-wee. You need to go get you a bottle of that red breast. Get the black bottle. The black bottle. You will fall in love.
Looking forward to it.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, so what the Alaska beer scene pushes you the most? Good.
I'm going to give you Bobby's answer after you guys answer.
Okay, this is a Josh question, for sure.
Who in the Alaska beer scene pushes
in the Alaska beer scene?
In a good way.
So the brewers here in Alaska.
Sure.
I have an answer too. I mean, I'm not the brewer, but my answer would be probably 49th State on a bigger scale. Obviously, I love Hoodoo. I love our local brewers, but I love 49th State, and I love King Street as well. Totally different vibes, but those ones are inspiring to me. You know, their size, their scale.
Yeah.
They have a lot of good products as well. I don't know that I ever want to do what 49th State does, though, on the food side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty huge. It's a lot of stuff going on there.
Yeah.
And that's why we leased out to Ted and built out that kitchen.
Oh, okay.
We didn't really want to get into the food scene and manage that ourselves.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think in terms of like pushing me or the brewery to be better or in a direction where, you know, trying new stuff, I think it kind of depends, I guess, what part of the brewery we're talking about. Like beer wise, you know, it really comes down to what am I looking at brewing and who are you going to stack your beer up against, right? In some regards, where it's not that I want to sell my beer directly against theirs, but it's like if someone's making, you know, like Hoodoo has Kolsch, obviously. So if I was ever going to make a beer in that similar vein, that's probably who I'm most likely going to look at, right? Just based on volume. Yeah. But I mean, with Black Spruce and Humble Roots here in town now, like we all kind of have our different niches, and so whenever I'm thinking about new beers, I'm always looking at, you know, what do they have, what are their people drinking, right? Not that I want to copy what they're doing, but just like, you know, they're pushing the scene in certain directions, so like where can I fill in or push in a different direction, right? And then like, you know, Zeb said, in terms of scale and distribution, like I've worked at bigger breweries than this that distribute more. Not my favorite part about brewing, because it's a lot to take on and stuff, but some of those sort of mid-tier breweries that you'll see everywhere. At 49th State, they just like, they blanket the state, and that's a lot of work. I don't want to be that big. Like there's no way I'd want to be that big, you know? So I think in terms of like Anchorage Brewing, I really like their stuff because they play in the wood and fooders and everything, and so that's sort of an inspiration, because nobody's doing that up here in the interior really at all. And so they have something wholly unique there, so I really like their stuff, and every time I'm down there, I make sure to stop in and see what they're working with.
Gotcha. I would give a shout out here to Ock Bay in Forbidden Peak Brewing.
They are in Alaska?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Just north of Juneau there. Probably my second favorite brewery in the state.
Okay, so can you get their beers at here locally?
No.
Oh, really?
Just a good customer experience if you ever get down to Juneau.
Okay.
Go check out Forbidden Peak Brewing.
Okay, all right.
Awesome.
Okay.
So what was Bobby's answer?
Oh yeah, you said you were going to say that.
Okay, so Bobby, he recommends all the local breweries, and so he said he hasn't had a bad local brew in the interior.
Yeah.
So
good answer.
Yeah. Yeah. So kudos to those guys, and kudos to you guys too. I mean, because it's not easy to do what you guys are doing, and so you guys are basing. Well, I won't say you're basing your livelihood, because you guys probably do other things. I know you sell houses, right? And so do you have a?
Yeah, I'm
like a main gig.
I'm a utility contractor.
Okay, so you don't. So this isn't your main livelihood, but the fact that you're producing a product that draws these type of crowds to keep Josh employed and keep him doing what he's doing, right? So that says a lot about what you guys produce here. So kudos to all of you that do what you do, because that's why we're here. I mean, because we're just three guys. We happen to share a common love of hops and water and barley, and
how many?
And we like to talk.
So there'll be some grain in there too.
Well, you know what I'm talking about. That's why you're sitting by my side. It's all good. All right, so who's next?
So Andy and Zeb, you both have already kind of touched on this, but I'll let you get a little deeper in that if you want to. But what's something customers would be surprised to learn about your day-to-day life? And this is kind of for all three of you, whoever wants to chime in. And maybe not life or like brewery life, like your day-to-day here at the brewery. What is something that maybe customers would be surprised about or surprised to hear about?
I don't really know what customers might know about us. Zeb and I both have our day jobs. Zeb's
Correct.
State and a contractor. I'm always working here at the brewery on this or that, not brew floor stuff, but other like maintenance items. And Zeb's always handling all the legal stuff with licensing and insurance and all that.
And Josh makes a beer.
And Josh is your staple lat 65. He's doing the lat 65 grind.
Yeah.
I'll add.
Josh is the man. So Josh is the man.
What do you think people would be surprised to learn about you, Zeb?
I don't know. That's a question I wasn't prepared for. I know you. I don't know
that you're a grandpa.
Oh, there's one.
He's a good grandpa. Wait. So are you a grandpa? Or are you going to be a G-man now? Are you going to be stick with grandpa?
Yeah, I think I'm going to switch to G-man. I like that.
There you go.
Yeah, so 2 years ago I became a grandpa. So
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so that's always kind of funny to say. Still a little bit weird to say.
Yeah, exactly. Because in our minds, we're still like, that high testosterone senior in high school, ready to take on the world. But we've got like, not only like we have like our child, but we've got our child's child.
Yeah.
Which makes us a grandpa. And so it's like, I'm not really ready, but here I am.
Right.
6 deep. So it's too late for not being ready.
Yeah, I can tell you. I mean, you don't look like a grandpa. Neither do I. So
no,
I'm just going to stay right on that.
Exactly.
We're G-man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. All right. So is it on me? Okay.
Sure.
So we're going to segue before I ask the last question. What's the dynamic between you two? Who's the risk taker and who's pumping the brakes?
Oh, this is easy to answer. This is so easy. He's the risk taker and I'm the one pumping the brakes for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Andy is very, it's not that we're both not ambitious, right? We both have an ambitious flair.
Yeah.
He's very,
optimist.
He's an optimist.
Yeah.
And so sometimes he will take on projects that
yeah, we can do that, no problem.
take on projects that maybe I'm like
that you shouldn't do.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not sure if you should take on this project. And I think that goes for his contracting world. I mean, he gets them done.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the thing. Like, there's a couple people in my life that I would call if I was ever in a really bad jam.
Yeah.
And he's number one.
Okay.
It's like he will MacGyver his way out of anything.
Yeah.
And so, like, he's brilliant.
Yeah.
But sometimes he overextends. And so that he's definitely the risk taker.
Yeah. And but you have to be a risk taker though. Like, and so that all boils down to you believing in yourself though.
Oh
right?
Yeah.
Like you have to believe in yourself because nobody else is going to do it.
Sure.
And it helps if you've got the financial stability in order to back what you believe in up. And so that makes a big difference right there. So I say all that to say this right here. If you guys are listening and if you're still paying attention this far into the podcast, don't be afraid to take a chance and follow your dream. All right, because this started as a dream, and look at where we are now. We're sitting here in this magnificent facility, looking at all of this equipment and all of the people that are here enjoying the fruits of your labor. And Josh, what you make up and dream up, whenever you're dreaming up your mad scientist type of stuff that you got going on up there. So kudos to you guys, man.
Well, thank you.
And thanks for doing this. This was fun. Yeah.
Okay, so what's one decision you guys disagreed on where you probably had to cave in and the end was the right decision?
I can't think of one that's right on the top of my head. Can you think of any? I mean, we've disagreed on plenty of stuff. We're pretty good though. Like, I mean, we're not. I mean, there's some business partners that have, that butt heads pretty hard and have, blow up moments. We really don't have a lot of that stuff.
It's really like coming to a resolution, rather than a black and white disagreement. Like, this location was a big stickler for a long time.
Yeah.
I remember, like I said, I want this building. I think the location's great. And Zeb was worried about stuff like, oh, there's not enough parking. He's like, I don't like this intersection down here. It takes people forever. It takes people 10 minutes to get out of here,
Yeah.
This is before the roundabout.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, you're partners, right? You don't do something unless you both agree.
Yeah. True.
So
True.
Eventually, he might pull for something, and we don't do it unless I eventually come around, and vice versa.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, I think it's sounds a lot like a marriage. It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Same thing.
No, but in a business sense, that's really good practice, though.
Yeah. So that's why I think I struggle to answer your question. I mean, there hasn't been a disagreement.
Well, and so that's good. And then, so you guys are almost 5 years deep into this thing.
Yeah.
And the fact that you guys are still here and you're still a team, and Josh is still here.
Yeah.
And I mean, because that says a lot about your relationship and your personalities. Because a lot of people, and because you go and so I own Custom Creations Embroidery, and so I deal with a lot of different small businesses in the local area. Some of them I've been in business with for years, and some of them they just fall apart. And then because there's always disagreements, and like not everybody can always get along.
Yeah.
So I think egos play a lot into a lot of the demise of a lot of businesses that could have went further.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
that's huge. You got to check your ego at the door.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I think that Andy and I started as friends, and a lot of people say, don't get into business with family and friends.
Yeah, exactly. Right? But you guys are still here.
So a lot of people say, don't get into business with friends and family, and I understand that concept, and I think it can definitely go south, right? I've had some stuff go south with family and business type situations, but I don't agree with that statement entirely. In fact, I disagree with it on a lot of levels, because I think you really can have a good partnership with friends.
Exactly.
And if you're friends before, And if you have a good foundation there, and if you're able to check your ego out the door, and and also your ability to surrender. I heard this quote from my college professor, and he said, sometimes your greatest strength in life is your ability to surrender. I use it all the time. Right. Surrendering to your wife, right? You're not always going to win every argument, or your business partner or a friend, right? You might not agree, right? But I guess, like you said, sometimes hard-headedness and stuff ruins things. So true. I'm not going to say that we've never had disagreements, because we've had plenty, but it's not ever been terrible.
There's nothing wrong with having disagreements. Right. But as long as everybody at the end of the day can come back and say, you know what? Like maybe you were right. Maybe I was looking at it in the wrong perspective, but you helped me see it a different way.
Sure.
And so let's just make the adjustments we need to make, and let's just move forward.
Right.
Yeah. But so a lot of people don't see it like that, though, and so that's when you talk about the demise of a business. And so before I ask the last question, are there any more segues? Brandon, you've got some stuff on your mind. Are you good?
I'm good. I will say I was here for your St. Patty's Day party, and that was fucking awesome. Good job on that. But no, I don't have any other questions.
Thank you.
Jeff? You sure? Okay, so let me breeze through. Let's see here. Anything else we're gonna ask? Nothing we're gonna ask. Series. I'm gonna ask these because so this is the first episode of this series. So we have how many more breweries to visit? Humble Roots, Black Spruce, Silver Gulch, and Big Delta. So we have 4 more breweries to visit, and we're going to ask each brewery the same question. And so this is one of them. Well, I'm going to ask one. I'm just going to ask. Or do you have the questions too? You want to ask one of these questions, or you good?
There's more questions?
Okay, so
just go for it.
Okay, so who in the Fairbanks beer scene is pushing things the most right now?
What do you mean, pushing the envelope? Like pushing...
Yes.
Creativity.
Yes.
I think it's Carrie. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I'd agree. Black Spruce.
Okay.
Definitely has the most variety of...
Yeah, because they do the sours.
They do sours. Carrie is he's that type of brewer that just loves to experiment and do new things and push the boundaries of what beer is. And so him and Talon too at
Humble Roots.
Sorry.
Okay.
So Talon also has that sort of vibe where he tries to make new beers, do new exciting stuff. So I'd say between those two breweries, those are definitely the most cutting edge new beers you're gonna find on the menu.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so back when y'all still had the regular brewery license, and people were limited, where would you send people to next after coming?
We would give them all the names. Yeah. Everybody's pretty close.
Yes.
It's not like we got a huge town here where we're driving a lot of miles, but...
Yeah, I know our servers were really good about being like, well, what kind of beers do you like? We'd say, oh, you can go to Hoodoo. They're more of German, sort of American style beers. If you like sours and things like that, then you can go to Black Spruce, Humble Roots just opened after we already had our liquor license, but we still send people there because they're right down the street. So
I don't know if you were there, Josh. I don't know if you were there, Andy, but I remember, and so this made a huge impact on me. And so I go back to as a small business owner, whenever somebody calls me and they say, well, Jolly Roger referenced me to you, or they say, Lisa, she sent me to you from Santa Stitches, right?
Yep.
Well, because I do small stuff, and so they're like, you have to call Tilden, because he can do 50 T-shirts for you, right?
Yeah.
And so the day that I walked into Black Spruce, and it was you, Bobby, owners of Black Spruce, and I think a couple of your coworkers, you guys are all sitting there just chit-chatting, just laughing amongst each other, and that showed the unity, right, of the local brewers. Now this was a couple of years ago, before Humble Roots, And then I see you walking in the black, in the hoodoo sometimes, right? And so that just shows that, it's the family, right? So everybody knows that there's enough suds to go around for everybody. So it's not like it's really like this animosity or competition. And so that's what I love seeing, that one day when I walked into Black Spruce and I saw you guys all sitting there, just having a beer and conversating.
Yeah, that was one of the coolest things, I think, when Andy and I, obviously hadn't been in this industry before. Josh had before, but that was one of the coolest things when we entered this industry, was the support and welcoming.
Oh, I don't mean to cut you off, but before I forget,
okay,
Ken is my good friend.
Yeah.
And I remember when Ken first started, were you the one brewing Ken's beer?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're the one brewing Ken beer down in Big Delta, in Delta Junction for Big Delta
I
Brewing Company.
brewed a couple of beers for him.
So before he got his stuff and really got going, I remember him, he used to come up here.
Yep.
And he used to, I'd meet him here.
Yeah.
And because he was picking up because you guys were brewing for him. So that right there, I was like, wow, that's pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah, and it's the support and the welcoming from all the other brewers in town was a really pretty cool thing. You don't get that in a lot of other industries, right?
True,
people are kind of vindictive and they're just kind of out for blood, but and I think that just goes to show, all these businesses, we're all competitors, but we're really not competing with each other. We're just competing to make ourselves better. Right. If you just focus on making your own business better rather than trying to beat someone, right? That's really what it's about, right?
Because at the
you
end
want
of the
the
day,
industry to be good.
Yeah, exactly. Because at the end of the day, if you produce a good product, it's gonna bring people back to you over and over and over again. So that's what you gauge your success by.
Yeah.
It's like, how many repeat customers and how often do they come back and how often do they recommend this beer,
right,
and send people my way.
Right.
So yeah, but on that note, because we can sit here and get all spiritual and stuff for hours, but I'm gonna have to end this segment right here. If you had to shut down everything tomorrow, what are you most proud of?
I would say keeping this building from falling into the abyss and turning into dust.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's probably an understatement. We really have a good presence and a good following here in the community. Go and play. Like, I go to Seattle, I go to Las Vegas, I see people wearing our T-shirts now.
Oh, really?
That's
awesome. That's pretty cool.
Wow. Okay. All right.
I guess I'm just proud of the impact that we've had, as a gathering place.
Yeah. People coming to us for sponsorships and, and just supporting the community, and everybody that comes in here that supports us and, loves to be here, families, friends, everybody, that's the biggest thing. That's what our goal was. So really you could close down tomorrow and that, we hit our goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That's not what we're going to do, but that was what we wanted to do.
All right. Okay, so the next stop, the next stop we have scheduled is Black Spruce. Is there anything that you want us to ask them?
Well, we got to do another collab.
Oh, yeah. We haven't done a collab in a while.
Okay. All right.
What do you think, Josh?
All righty.
Gary's a smart guy, I'm sure. He'll ace all your questions.
All right. Okay, so this is our first episode of our 36 on Tap, and it happened to be, we started off at lap 65. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the conversation that we had. Our next stop is Black Spruce. So please subscribe, like, share, and stay tuned for our next episode, which will hopefully take place in a few weeks at Black Spruce. Again, another brewery in Fairbanks, Alaska. So, are you guys ready? My name is Tilden.
I'm Jeff. And I'm Brandon.
I'm Josh.
I'm Zeb.
I'm Andy.
And this was 36 the Podcast, and we are out.
It's 36.
Peace.
The Podcast. 36.